What's up, everybody? This is Wyatt Bagnall. Just coming to you really quickly here with my predictions for the wild card round of the playoffs. Apologies for coming so late with this. My initial video got corrupted, and so I sort of have to scramble a little bit to get this redone. So, starting off with the Saturday games, Seattle at the San Francisco 49ers. By every logical metric, the 49ers should win this game and win it by a lot. But there are several factors that come into play here. One of them is that this is the third time they're playing the Seahawks, and they know each other very well. That means really on any given day, any given time, they can just sort of have the other one's number and get it done that day. Based on the talent of their team, I don't think Seattle's capable of it. But the one thing that helps with a talent gap is really bad weather. And there's supposed to be a driving rainstorm in San Francisco on that day. I saw that there might be like a flood warning or something like that in Santa Clara, where Levi Stadium is. And that's the type of thing that, that can mess up a big talent gap. The 49ers lost to the Bears in week one in a driving rainstorm like that. Granted, week one is also weird. You haven't really been playing football a whole lot, so hopefully by this time of the year they can handle that better. That's really the only thing that I can see Seattle going in Seattle's favor to help them win this game. So yeah, with that said, I'm gonna pick San Fran, and I'll say that it's a little bit closer than people think, though, because I think there's gonna be a bit of a sloppy game and a tough time in the rain. To the night game on Saturday, Chargers at Jaguars. This is a game where if you're better, I'm not sure I would touch this game because I think they both have the potential to win. The Chargers, on paper, have the better roster. They are also the Chargers, though, and which means that they will find new and unique ways to mess everything up. I respect the hell out of the Jags for making it this far. They showed a lot of resiliency, and they also beat the tar out of the Chargers the first time they played them. But that was back in Week 3. That was Justin Herbert coming off that nasty rib injury. That's the game that Joey Bosa left early in the game. I think these teams are also just different now than they were then. That was really before Jacksonville was clicking. Also, before the Chargers sort of started to put it together a bit. But I think the difference is the Jags are at home. The Chargers, arguably, their best wide receiver is out of this game, and it's probably out of the next game, too, if they played it, because Brandon Staley decided to pull one of the most ridiculous moves I've ever seen and play Mike Williams in a purposeless game against the Broncos in Week 18, and he got a fracture in his back. So he's out. The Chargers are not explosive. They're going to do a lot of stuff to Austin Eckler, so if the Jags can just come up and rally and tackle, that should be great. They should be able to handle that. But I don't know. I kind of want Justin Herbert and the Chargers to advance because I think that they could put on a better game against the Chiefs specifically because they're a division rival and understand them and always seem to play them close. But logic would say I think that the Jags get this one done. Not in any type of spectacular fashion, most likely. First playoff game for Trevor Lawrence. You never know if he tenses up a little. He seemed a little bit tense and missed some throws against the Titans. But this is sort of a gut feeling one, man. It just feels like there's a lot of bad negative energy around the Chargers coming into this game with losing Mike Williams, and there's constant questions about their coaching staff and everything like that. The Jags feel like they're just on a little more solid ground and are a little happier and more upbeat, and everything's a little more positive in Duval. So I'm gonna pick the Jags. The other reason that I actually don't mind this happening is I think that if they lose this game, Brandon Staley will be out as the Chargers coach, and we can all see Sean Payton get his hands on Justin Herbert, which is what I really, really want for the Chargers. On to Sunday. On Sunday, we have every single game except every other game except Bucks Cowboys. We'll get to that one last. So I'm going to get two of these out of the way pretty quick because really there's not a ton to say about them. Bills hosting the Dolphins. The Bills are going to win this game. The Bills are going to win this game by a lot. And that's going to happen because Skylar Thompson is going to start at quarterback for Miami. Tua is out. Teddy's out. Skylar Thompson has not played well in any of the times he's come in. I also think that the Bills, this is sort of the anti-version of 49ers Seahawks, where the Bills and Dolphins split. So there's nobody coming in amazingly confident or there's nobody coming in like overlooking somebody or anything like that. Not that I think the 49ers are, it's just that's sort of just the psychology of beating someone twice. Um, I think that the Bills are aware that Miami's dangerous, that Miami's explosive, and I think they're also aware that Skylar Thompson is what they want to try to like have beat them. They're not going to try to let Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson rush for a lot. The Dolphins aren't a particularly great running team because outside of Teron Armstead, that O-line still isn't great, but it is improved, which is good for them. The Bills' defense and the Bills on the whole have dealt with a lot of injuries. They obviously dealt with the DeMar Hamlin situation, and I think that that's the type of thing that can galvanize a team. I think that they're going to be out there playing for something more than what Miami is. Miami's there to try to win a football game. Miami's there try to like score the upset. The Bills are trying to prove the Bills are trying to prove that they're as legitimate as Kansas City. The Bills are trying to prove that they're a franchise that isn't this cursed franchise. The Bills are fighting for a guy who was fighting for his life on the field. The Bills have a lot more to their spirit, I think. And I think as a result of that, beyond just the fact that they're playing an undermanned Dolphins team, they're going to smash Miami. I think that'll be a really a boring affair for the most part for us as the viewers. The other one that I think is going to be a pretty tough one to watch is Ravens-Bengals. By all indications, Lamar Jackson is not going to play this football game, which we can speculate later as to why. But as it pertains to this game, Lamar Jackson's not playing. We believe it's Tyler Huntley playing, possibly. Or it's, what's the guy's name? I think it's like Anthony Johnson or something is their third quarterback. That won't get it done against Cincinnati unless the Ravens defense comes out and has the game of their life. I wouldn't hate to see that. That'd actually be pretty funny. But it doesn't seem that likely. Unless we've all been tricked and Lamar Jackson walks out onto that football field, the Bengals are going to roll the Ravens. And then we get to have a whole lot of fun speculating what exactly Lamar's doing and how that could have affected everything else going on with the Baltimore Ravens. Next up, we have the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. This is the game. I think this game is going to be so weird. These are two teams that they neither one of them makes sense as to how they got here. You know, the Vikings have the worst point differential for any team that has won as many games as they had. I think at least it was like 11. I want to say like almost all their wins, maybe all but one or two of them, and it was like the first week and the last week. I think, yeah, all but two or three of their games were won by less than one score. So the Vikings play you close, or they get blown out by 40. And there is no in between. There never has. And the Giants are a game that was like a really crazy game going against the Minnesota Vikings. So I think this game is going to be wild. I think this game is going to be close. And it might not be because these teams are good. I mean, because by every metric or statistic, the Giants aren't really good at anything. But they keep on winning somehow, which is a testament to Brian Daboll and why he should be a Coach of the Year candidate. So I'm interested in this game just because I expect some level of chaos, and I'm here for it, and I'm excited for it. So with that said, I'm going to pick Minnesota, but I would like to see the Giants win just for the hell of it. You know, just for that one team that shouldn't be there to score the upset, get another week. It'll probably be against Philadelphia, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And then last up, we are going the Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is another game where I have to really try to like battle with like some recency bias, but you do have to take account of it because it was like a week and 2 weeks ago. Where 2 weeks ago was the first time Tampa Bay's offense looked like an NFL offense, which, you know, good for them. It only took them the entirety of the season. But they did that, and they looked decent in like the few plays and series that they had going against Atlanta before they pulled the starters, and that was it for the regular season for them, which is great. Contrary to that, the Dallas Cowboys, you know, they say that you want to be like streaking into the playoffs. You want to be hot going into the playoffs. The Cowboys are not doing that. The Cowboys, the last few weeks, has stumbled and not looked great. Even their win against Philadelphia, it's like you played Gardner Minshew. And then last week was just the ultimate what the hell. I mean, losing to the Commanders by like 20 points, no good. No bueno. Can't have it, can't do it. But they did it, and now they go to play Tom Brady, a team that they lost to in week one. There was only 2 games this year where Dallas looked legitimately helpless. And it was the first game against Tampa Bay and the last game against Washington. Those are the 2 games that are on everyone's mind this week, so I think it skews a lot of things. This is a tough one because, like I said, sort of like the Chargers things, all the energy and all of the emotional part of like the human nature around the Cowboys is very negative and very sort of like I could see them being very tense and panicking a little about like, oh my God, we can't be doing this again. We can't be choking like this again. And the Buccaneers are playing loose. Again, sort of like the Seahawks going into play San Francisco. The Seahawks are going into that with like very loose house money mentality. I think in the same way Tampa Bay is, because everybody said all year that whoever plays them in the first round, it's like a little mini bye week. So Tampa Bay gets to come in and play however they want. I hope that Tampa Bay leans a little bit more into like play action passing because they're actually really good at it, but they don't do it a lot. And I think Tom Brady needs to be one of the guys this week that just says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and call this offense, basically. I'm going to take it out of the hands of some people because we got to win this game. We can't be doing the dumb stuff that we've been doing all year. Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich have not had a good year managing the offensive side of the ball specifically. I think that Dak will throw at least 1 or 2 up for the Buccaneers defense to pick off. I think that it's just a matter of if they catch it. And I'd like to see Tampa Bay win this. But Tampa Bay has looked good for a game and a half this year. And Dallas has looked good in most games except for 2 or 3 of them. So, this is the one where my heart and my head are going totally different directions. Completely different directions. I'm going to go ahead and lean on consistency here. And I understand that it's Tom Brady. Oh, man. This is a tough one. Yeah, this is the one that no matter how many times I go to it, I always come to a different conclusion. Because I don't ever really want to bet against Tom Brady, especially against Dallas, where he's never lost to Dallas. That doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. He played them once this year in week 1. Even that game doesn't really matter. These teams are completely different teams. Does playoff Tommy have like some magic for us? Screw it. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay because I want it, and I think that it's way more funny if Dallas loses this. So, there you have it. So, my overall picks, I'm going 49ers, Jags, Bills, Bengals, obviously. And then I'm going with, I'm going to, screw it. I'm going to go with the Giants also. Yeah, Giants, I'll stick with them. I'm going to ride the ones that I want in these close games. So Giants and then Buccaneers. Why not? Next weekend's games, I think, are a lot better and are a little more clean to predict. This is the weekend where you have some of these messy teams and some of them are playing each other, and it's really sort of a crapshoot. So we'll see. But, yeah, thanks so much for checking these out, and enjoy a great weekend of football. Go Niners. Let's go.